Welcome back, coin enthusiasts. Today's log is all about the most valuable United Kingdom coins, spanning popular denominations like the top 7.5 penny, 5 pence, 1 new penny, 20 pence, 3 pence, 1 pound, and 1 shilling. We'll explore these coins across different years, mint marks, and conditions from circulated to pristine uncirculated specimens. If you're a collector or just love UK numismatics, this guide is for you. Let's get started. First up, the classic United Kingdom 1 halfpenny from 1982. This is one of the last decimal halfpennies ever produced by the Royal Mint, and although it might look like an ordinary small bronze coin, there's more to it than meets the eye. In this video we'll explore the history, unique features, collector interest, and most importantly, what this coin might be worth today in US dollars, especially in fine condition. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just curious about hidden value in your change jar, stay tuned. The UK halfpenny was introduced in 1971 when Britain switched over to decimal currency. The idea was simple: half the value of a penny. However, it was the smallest denomination in circulation, worth just 0.5 pence. By the early 1980s, inflation and changing spending habits had all but erased its usefulness, and the halfpenny was eventually demonetized in 1984, just 2 years after the 1982 issue. This means that coins like the 1982 halfpenny were only in active circulation for a short time, a factor that collectors often find interesting, even if the mintage was relatively high. Let's talk design and physical traits. The 1982 UK 1 halfpenny is a bronze coin weighing around 1.78 grams with a diameter of approximately 17 millimeters. On the obverse, you'll find the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, crowned and facing right, while the reverse features St. Edward's crown with the denomination halfpenny and the fraction 1/2 clearly marked. Its smooth edge and modest size make it easily identifiable. These coins were minted at the Lantrisant Mint in Wales, and millions were struck before withdrawal from circulation. Now, rarity might be a confusing term here. The 1982 halfpenny isn't rare in the sense of extremely low mintage. Over 190 million pieces were produced. That's a huge number compared with many classic coins. Because of that, these coins aren't considered scarce in circulated grades. However, the real rarity tends to appear in higher conditions or variants such as proof strikes or uncirculated examples, though those are far less common than the everyday circulated ones. Collectors do appreciate fine condition examples, but because so many of these coins were used as pocket change or saved as curiosities, a fine or very fine 1982 halfpenny isn't rare per se, it's just less common in good quality than worn pieces. It's one of those coins where condition makes most of the difference. Though, what is a 1982 UK halfpenny worth today in dollars? Typical circulated examples that show wear but are still complete and eye-catching generally sell for only a few tenths of a dollar, up to around $1 or $2 US, depending on the platform and buyer interest. In slightly better grades like fine or very fine, values can climb closer to $1 to $3 USD. Uncirculated or proof examples, especially if professionally graded, can fetch more, occasionally several dollars more or even into the low double digits in rare sale scenarios. But for most 1982 halfpennies you find, even in fine condition, values remain modest because of the large original mintage and common availability. Again, this is very different from some rare era coins or low mintage dates in other countries. If you're hunting for value in coins like the 1982 halfpenny, here are some quick tips. Condition matters. Coins with sharp details and minimal wear are always more appealing to collectors than heavily worn ones. Look for unusual traits. Proof strikes or mint sets from the year often stand out from normal circulation examples. Get it graded if you believe you have a particularly nice specimen. Professional grading can make it more marketable. Research auction results. Market trends shift over time, so keeping an eye on recent sales helps you understand true current value. Don't overlook context. A coin may not be valuable on its own, but it can be a great part of a broader UK or decimal coin collection. All in all, the 1982 United Kingdom 1 halfpenny is a fascinating little coin with an interesting place in decimal coinage history. While it's not exceptionally rare thanks to high mintage and millions circulating at the time, collectors still appreciate well-preserved examples. In fine condition, you can expect modest values in the low dollar range, but for dedicated collectors or those assembling thematic sets, it's a meaningful piece to include. Next up, the 1992 5 pence coin. While it may appear common at first glance, collectors will find that certain details make this coin particularly interesting. In this video, we'll explore its history, unique features, and current auction market value in dollars. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting your collection, understanding coins like this can open doors to potential value and rare finds. The United Kingdom 5 pence coin was first introduced in 1968, replacing the old shilling as part of the decimalization process. By 1992, the coin had gone through subtle design updates, reflecting the rich heritage of the British monarchy and economy. The obverse of the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklouf, which was the official design from 1985 to 1997. On the reverse side, the coin carries the iconic crowned thistle, symbolizing Scotland, as part of the standard design used for 5 pence coins during this era. Coins from this period reflect the precision of modern minting while retaining traditional symbolism, making them popular among collectors who appreciate historical continuity. The 1992 5 pence coin stands out for several reasons. Firstly, its size and composition were consistent with coins minted in the late 20th century, using cupronickel for durability and a pleasing silvery finish. The coin weighs 5.65 grams and has a diameter of 18 millimeters, making it slightly larger than later issues post-1992. Collectors often appreciate the detailed engraving on both the obverse and reverse, especially the intricate crown atop the thistle. Additionally, certain coins from this year show slight variations in strike quality or edge finishing, which can make specific examples more valuable. While the 1992 5 pence coin was minted in large numbers and isn't considered extremely rare, coins in very fine condition or higher are increasingly sought after. Over time, circulation has caused most examples to show noticeable wear. Damaged or heavily circulated coins tend to have lower collector demand, but coins with minimal scratches, intact details, and a clear strike still attract attention. Collectors often search through bulk coins for these higher quality examples because even a few subtle differences can make a coin stand out in an auction. So, what is the auction market value of a 1992 5 pence coin in very fine condition? As of today, such coins generally sell for around $2 to $5 individually, depending on the buyer and auction platform. Coins with exceptional preservation, clear details, and minimal signs of wear may fetch slightly higher prices, sometimes up to $10 if they are part of a graded set or a specialized collection. While this isn't a record-breaking coin, it represents a stable and accessible entry point for collectors looking to build a comprehensive UK decimal coin collection. For collectors interested in acquiring a 1992 5 pence coin, there are a few tips to keep in mind. First, always check for coins with minimal wear, focusing on the clarity of the Queen's portrait and the thistle design. Second, consider buying coins in bulk from reputable dealers or auctions, as this increases the chance of finding higher quality examples. Third, store your coins properly to maintain their condition, using coin flips or albums in a cool, dry environment. Finally, research market trends and auction results periodically. Prices can fluctuate slightly, especially if the coin is included in a larger set or collection. In summary, the United Kingdom 5 pence coin from 1992 is a fascinating piece for collectors, offering a glimpse into the modern era of British coinage. Its historical significance, detailed design, and moderate collector demand make it a worthwhile addition to any numismatic collection. While it may not be extremely rare, finding a very fine example can still be satisfying and potentially profitable. Next up, the 1971 United Kingdom 1 new penny. You might have heard rumors online about this coin being extremely rare or fetched huge sums at auction. But how much of that is actually true? In this video, we'll explore the history of the coin, its unique characteristics, how common it really is, and what kind of prices it actually achieves on the market today, especially in circulated condition, expressed in US dollars. Let's dive in. The year 1971 was a pivotal moment in British monetary history. On Decimalisation Day, February 15th, 1971, the UK officially transitioned from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a decimal currency system. As part of that process, the 1 new penny was introduced for the very first time to replace the old 1 penny 1d coin. The term new was used on the coin's reverse for the first decade to distinguish it from the pre-decimal penny that had been in circulation for centuries. This new designation lasted until around 1982 before being changed simply to 1 penny. Designed by Christopher Ironside, the reverse features a crowned portcullis with chains, a symbol long associated with the Palace of Westminster, an iconic design that many collectors appreciate today. The obverse bears the second crowned portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, inscribed with Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 1971. Though this coin was mass-produced, it has several features that make it historically interesting. First, as the first decimal penny issue for the United Kingdom, it marks a major shift in British currency and is a favourite for decimal coin collections. It is made of bronze, weighs roughly 3.56 grams, and measures about 20.3 millimeters in diameter, with a smooth edge. Collectors also note the new penny inscription on the reverse, a detail that places it firmly in the early decimal era. Later issues simply read 1 penny once the distinction was no longer necessary. That makes 1971 coins specially tied to the decimalisation moment in British economic history. Now to the big topic, rarity. Despite occasional stories on social media and auction sites claiming that the 1971 1 new penny is ultra-rare, the facts paint a much more measured picture. According to official mintage figures, the Royal Mint struck over 1.52 billion of these coins in 1971, by far the largest production run for any UK penny in history. Because of this enormous mintage, the standard 1971 1 new penny in circulated condition is not rare at all in numismatic terms. It was, after all, everyday pocket change back in the 1970s and remains so for decades. Even today you can find them in circulation or in bulk lots without much difficulty. That said, there are occasional listings on auction and sales platforms showing higher prices, but a closer look reveals that many of these listings are either priced by sellers speculating on rarity or are special graded coins, not typical circulated examples. There are also stories online about coins supposedly selling for hundreds or even astronomical figures, though many of these appear dubious or based on unverified claims by sellers. Oh, what is a 1971 1 new penny actually worth today if you have one in circulated condition? Based on widely used coin catalogs and recent sales data, a typical 1971 penny in circulated condition is often worth only slightly above face value, generally the equivalent of a few cents to a couple of US dollars at best. Online pricing guides list values in the ballpark of 7 cents $1 US depending on condition and market trends. Even on major auction platforms like PCGS auction prices, a graded example with a high grade such as MS67 Road, which is not a circulated coin but a mint state specimen, might sell for around 40 US dollars or so, and that's typically the upper range for high-grade collectible versions. Compare that to the occasional eye-catching private sale listings claiming prices well into the hundreds or even thousands. These are almost always either errors, graded proof coins, or speculative listings that may not reflect actual completed sales. If you're a collector looking at a 1971 1 new penny in your collection, understand that standard circulated examples are extremely common and not considered rare coins from a numismatic standpoint. Always check the condition, grade, and authenticity. Coins with unusual mint errors or extremely high inherited grades can fetch more, but those are exceptions, and such coins should ideally be authenticated by reputable grading services that don't fall for clickbait auction listings that tout unrealistic values. Sellers often list high asking prices hoping to attract attention, but actual completed sales are a more reliable indicator of market value. To wrap up, the 1971 United Kingdom 1 new penny is a historically significant issue marking Britain's shift to decimal currency, and many collectors enjoy it for that reason alone. However, in circulated condition, it is not rare and doesn't command high prices on the market, often selling for only a few cents to a few dollars unless it's been specially preserved or graded. Next up, the United Kingdom 1982 20 pence coin. This isn't just any everyday coin you might find in your change, it's the very first year this denomination was issued in the UK, making it historically significant. While most examples are common and circulate every day, some collectors pay close attention to this date, even in dirty or heavily worn condition. In this video, we'll unpack why this coin matters, what makes it unique, how collectors view worn examples, and what prices these coins can command at auction, all in clear US dollar terms. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just curious about coins in your pocket, stay tuned. The 20 pence coin was first introduced by the Royal Mint in 1982 as part of the ongoing decimalisation of British currency, which began in 1971. The coin was designed with an equilateral curve heptagon that's a seven-sided shape, making it instantly recognizable and easy to use in vending machines. The reverse featured a crowned Tudor rose, and the obverse bore a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Despite being the first year of issue, an astonishingly high mintage figure was recorded. Around 740 million coins were produced in 1982, making it one of the most common 20p dates in circulation. Unlike many coins that change design frequently, the 1982 20p has a distinct look that collectors immediately recognize. The heptagonal shape gives the coin an iconic feel, and being the original release makes it historically significant despite its commonness. Over the years, die errors and special editions have popped up in the 20p series, though most of these don't relate to the 1982 issue directly. It's worth noting that there were also special proof and collector editions made, including a rare sterling silver Piedfort version limited to just 10,000 pieces, and these are genuinely collectible. Now here's the twist. While most 1982 20p coins are extremely common even in worn or dirty condition, some numismatists still collect them as part of British decimal coinage sets. In circulated, heavily worn, or corroded condition, these coins normally hold no premium above face value. A dirty 1982 20p is worth exactly 20 pence in everyday British currency, even if it looks ancient. But the historical angle first year of issue means some collectors will still add one to their albums simply for completion, even if it's not pristine. So what does this mean in real money? According to typical market guides, a common 1982 20p in circulated or dirty condition generally trades in the range of about 15 cents to $1 on collector sites. Unless the coin is in uncirculated, graded, or proof presentation quality, it's unlikely to fetch significantly more. However, listings on auction sites show that coins, especially those without clear description of condition, can sometimes appear at very high asking prices, even into the hundreds or thousands of dollars. It's important to stress that asking price is not the same as actual auction result. A coin listed for $1,500 might never actually sell at that price. The true realized values for circulated 1982 20p coins typically remain low, closer to face value or modest premiums for collector interest. If you look at reputable auction results or completed listings on platforms like eBay, you'll see that most ordinary 1982 20p coins, even in better conditions, don't command dramatic prices. Extremely high prices you sometimes see online are usually sellers hoping for attention, rather than coins that have actually sold at that level. For rare or error coins, very unusual varieties values can climb, but pure circulation 1982 20p coins in dirty states very rarely do. If you're a coin collector holding a 1982 20p that's been in your pocket for decades, here are a few tips. Check condition carefully. Coins with minimal wear and strong detail are much more attractive to collectors than heavily worn ones. Learn grading basics. Understanding terms like VG, very good, EF, extremely fine, or UNC, uncirculated, can help you gauge realistic value. Use sold records. Always refer to sold auction records rather than listed prices when estimating value. Look for errors or special versions. Certain proof, pied fort, or mistake coins can be genuinely valuable, but these are not common in the regular 1982 circulation strike. Get a second opinion. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can confirm condition and sometimes increase buyer confidence if selling. So what's the final take? The 1982 UK 20 pence coin is a fascinating piece of British numismatic history, the first of its kind, iconic in design, and beloved by collectors who chase sets from every year of issue. But in dirty or everyday circulated condition, it remains a common coin worth roughly face value in most cases, often under $1 in the collector market. Only in special, high-grade, or rare error varieties does it take on any significant auction value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just stumbled upon an old coin in your drawer, the 1982 20p is always worth examining, and if it's truly special, it might surprise you. Next up, the United Kingdom 1963 threepence coin, particularly in rusty or heavily worn condition. This small old British coin, once worth just 3 pre-decimal pence, has become a collectible talk point among coin enthusiasts. In this video, we'll explore its history, why even rusty examples can be interesting, and what they fetch on the market in US dollars today, even if they aren't in perfect shape. The British threepence, commonly called the threepenny bit, was part of the United Kingdom's pre-decimal currency system that existed until 1971. Worth 3 pence or 1/80th of a pound, it circulated widely for everyday transactions. The version from 1963 is made of nickel brass, a durable alloy introduced in the 1930s and used until the denomination was discontinued. The obverse features Queen Elizabeth II, and the reverse carries the traditional portcullis design, a heraldic symbol associated with British coinage and Parliament. While the mintage was relatively high, resulting in the 1963 threepence being abundant in circulated coins, its story still attracts collector interest due to its place within British monetary history. Even though the 1963 threepence wasn't rare when issued, it has interesting physical attributes that make it a joy for collectors. It is 12-sided, a distinctive shape uncommon in coins of that era, and made from a nickel-brass blend that ages with an attractive patina over time. Rust or oxidation develops when the surface interacts with moisture and the environment, giving many surviving coins a weathered look. While numismatists often prefer coins with original luster, these rusted or corroded examples still tell a story about their lifetime of use and exposure. So, is a rusty 1963 UK threepence rare? Strictly speaking, no, not in the traditional sense. Millions of these coins were minted, making them relatively common in collector circles today. However, what is rare is finding any coin from the 1960s in extremely high grades or with unusual provenance. Even heavily worn, corroded, or rusty examples have survived decades of circulation, and that survival alone gives them collectible appeal, especially to hobbyists building thematic British coin sets or pre-decimal collections. Collectors often differentiate between condition categories like very good, fine, and mint state. While rusty coins fall on the lower end of that scale, they still hold value among beginners, educators, or those interested in the history of the piece. What changes dramatically with rarity is the jump in value as condition improves, but even the common grades tell an interesting story about circulation patterns in mid-20th century Britain. Now for the part a lot of you are here for: what a 1963 threepence can sell for in today's dollars, especially at auctions or online marketplaces. According to coin value guides, a typical 1963 threepence in circulated condition, even with heavy wear or surface rust, might realistically be worth somewhere in the tens of cents to a few dollars range. For example, collector pricing data shows circulated coins can range roughly between about 40 cents to $4.60 USD, depending on the grade and appearance. A slightly better worn coin with recognizable details but still lots of wear might fetch around $1 to $2 USD or slightly more from casual buyers or beginner collectors. However, it's important to note that rust or heavy corrosion usually suppresses value in the eyes of serious numismatists unless the coin has other redeeming features or a particularly interesting provenance. Coins in very high, certified grades, uncirculated or near mint, can climb significantly higher, sometimes into the dozens of dollars, but that's far above what you'd expect from a rusty example if you're interested in buying, selling, or appraising a 1963 UK threepence. Assess the condition. Frankly, corrosion, rust, and surface damage matter when determining value. Consider professional grading services if you think your coin might be unusually well-preserved. Certification can raise market value. Compare similar coins sold on auction sites or coin marketplaces to gauge realistic price expectations in dollars. Even if the coin has low grade, it can be a nice educational piece in a historical collection or as a trade-in at local coin shows. Always remember, price isn't just about condition, it's also about interest, rarity, and what collectors are willing to pay at any given moment. To wrap up, the 1963 United Kingdom threepence, especially in a rusty or worn state, might not be the holy grail of pre-decimal coins, but it's an accessible and historically rich piece for coin lovers. Millions were made, so it's not rare in the strictest sense, yet it remains a collectible item that connects us to Britain's monetary past. In dollars, most rusty examples command modest sums, but they have enduring appeal to hobbyists and history buffs alike. Next up, the United Kingdom 1997 £1 coin. At first glance, it's just a round, nickel brass coin that used to be common in circulation. But for a growing number of numismatists and online buyers, certain 1997 £1 coins have taken on a surprising air of mystery and value. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector, an investor watching the markets, or someone who just stumbled upon one in your pocket change, this video will break it all down: history, rarity, unique traits, and what it might be worth in dollars today. The 1997 United Kingdom £1 coin was part of the classic round pound series, first introduced in 1983 and struck until their withdrawal from circulation in 2017. These coins featured the familiar heraldic design, Elizabeth II on the obverse, and the English lions on the reverse, and were made of a nickel brass alloy. In 1997 alone, over 57 million pieces were minted, making this issue far from limited at the time. Although these coins are no longer legal tender in shops since the introduction of the new 12-sided pound in 2017, they remain highly interesting to collectors around the world due to their history and the fact that many people still hold them to date. On the surface, the typical 1997 £1 coin isn't unusual, but there are a couple of key details that make specific pieces more intriguing. First, the classic design with the English lions and Queen Elizabeth II's portrait represents a nostalgic era of British currency. Second, because these coins were demonetized and withdrawn from everyday use, surviving examples have taken on collectible status simply because they are no longer produced or circulated. Lastly, occasional minting errors or strange variations, even things like slight misstrikes, can elevate a coin's desirability among collectors who specialize in anomalies. Now, let's talk about something that surprises many viewers: value in damaged condition. Unlike pristine, uncirculated coins which always attract higher prices, even circulated or imperfect 1997 £1 coins can draw collector interest, though with big caveats. Most £1,997 you'll find were common circulation strikes and therefore remain worth only their face value or slightly more in average condition. That said, certain coins with identifiable errors, like upside-down inscriptions or unusual markings, can command much higher prices online. While auction records for genuinely rare variants are debated, some YouTube videos and sellers have claimed extraordinary figures, even claims of values in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for highly exceptional pieces, though such results have not been widely verified through major auction houses. So what might a 1997 £1 coin actually fetch today? The honest answer is that for most collectors, the value varies widely based on condition and authenticity. Common 1997 £1 coins in circulated or worn condition generally are worth little more than face value, roughly $1 to $3 because millions were produced and most remain in existence. Uncirculated or lightly worn examples may fetch a modest premium from collectors, perhaps a few dollars up to around $20 to $50 USD when graded or certified. Coins with clear minting errors or rare traits can be priced much higher by private sellers, with some listings on marketplaces showing hundreds of dollars or more depending on desirability. However, extremely high figures like $250,000 to $450,000 USD that you might see mentioned on niche coin-focused YouTube channels are anecdotal and not typical auction results for the standard £1,997, and should be treated with caution without proper verified sales documentation. The key takeaway is that while major auction prices do exist for ultra-rare coins, the mainstream market tends to see much lower values for circulated examples if you think you found a valuable version of the 1997 £1 coin. Here are some practical tips before you rush to sell. Do not clean the coin. Cleaning can significantly reduce collectible value. Get it professionally graded. This can establish condition and authenticity. Research recent auction results. Market values change, and a verified sale tells you more than a listing price. To be cautious of inflated online listings. Sellers on marketplaces sometimes list coins at high prices that aren't backed by actual sales history. Understand that rarity is specific. Most 1997 coins are common. Only genuine, verifiable rarities are worth a significant premium. Being informed is the best defense against scams and over-optimistic pricing. The 1997 United Kingdom £1 coin holds a special place in modern numismatics, a coin many people still find in jars, drawers, or pocket change. For the average collector, most of these coins remain valued close to their original face value, but exceptions can and do exist when condition, error, or rarity come into play. Whether you're just curious or seriously considering investing in coins, remember that the world of numismatics is nuanced. Value isn't just what's printed on the coin, it's what collectors are willing to pay in the marketplace. Next up, the United Kingdom 1954 1 shilling coin. This modest-sized pre-decimal coin may seem unremarkable at first glance, but it has a fascinating story behind its design, circulation, and collecting appeal. In this video, we'll dive into its history and background, highlight unique features, explain why even circulated examples attract collector interest, and break down what this coin is worth in US dollars today. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just found this coin in a drawer, stay tuned, there's more here than you might expect. The 1954 1 shilling coin was produced during the early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, part of the United Kingdom's pre-decimal coinage system. At that time, the British currency system was still based on pounds, shillings, and pence, a complex structure that would later be replaced in 1971 with decimalisation. The shilling was worth 1/20th of a pound and was a staple denomination in everyday transactions across the UK. In 1954, the Royal Mint struck millions of these coins in cupronickel, a copper-nickel alloy, to meet circulating demand. The obverse bears the youthful bust of Queen Elizabeth II, while the reverse features traditional heraldic designs symbolising British identity. Although the 1954 shilling might look simple, several features make it interesting to collectors. It has a reed edge, measures approximately 23.523.6 mm in diameter, and weighs around 5.6 grams, a size and weight that remained consistent for British shillings of this era. The portrait of the Queen was engraved by Mary Gillick, and the overall design reflects post-war British coinage aesthetics that many collectors find appealing. While the design wasn't radically different from other years, some variations in reverse design, such as English and Scottish reverses, add subtle layers of interest for certain buyers. Now here's an important point. Circulated 1954 shillings are not considered extremely rare in the strictest sense. They were minted in the tens of millions. However, their survival rate, especially in higher grades, affects how collectors value them. Coins that show wear from everyday use, worn lettering, smooth details, and loss of original luster are generally more common, which keeps their prices modest. Still, many collectors enjoy adding these to British pre-decimal collections, especially when focusing on date sets or monarch series. Because collectors often prioritize completeness over rarity in circulated grades, these coins maintain steady demand even if they aren't key date rarities. Let's talk numbers. In circulated condition, meaning noticeable wear from general circulation, the market value for a 1954 1 shilling typically ranges from around 60 cents up to about $1.50, depending on how worn it is and which specific variety you have. Higher grade circulated examples showing cleaner surfaces and more readable details might fetch towards the upper end of that range. Most sales on auction sites and collector markets show prices clustering close to face or modest premiums over face value, reflecting that these coins are common but collectible items. Keep in mind that prices can fluctuate over time and can be influenced by demand, auction results, and grading standards. If you've just pulled a 1954 shilling from your pocket change, here are a few quick tips. Evaluate the grade. Coins in fine or very fine condition will sell for noticeably more than heavily worn pieces. Check the reverse type. Some collectors differentiate between the English reverse and Scottish reverse varieties. Understanding which you have can help accurately price it. Preserve what you have. Handling coins too much can add oils and microabrasions that reduce their value. Consider grading. For higher grade circulated coins, getting a professional grade from a reputable service can increase buyer confidence and potentially raise auction value. Even for coins with modest values, presentation matters. A clean, well-described auction listing often performs better than a hastily photographed one. The 1954 United Kingdom 1 shilling in circulated condition may not be one of the world's rarest coins, but it carries historical significance and steady collector interest. It represents a period of British numismatic history just after World War II and during the early reign of Queen Elizabeth II, and even modest wear examples can find a place in collections worldwide. While most traded coins sell for relatively small amounts in US dollars, they remain valued as staples of pre-decimal British coinage and can be a fun piece for new and seasoned collectors alike. If you enjoyed this deep dive into British coinage, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more coin history and value videos. Drop a comment with your own 1954 shilling stories. We'd love to hear what condition yours is in.